Imagine stepping onto a battlefield where speed decides everything, where hesitation for just a few seconds can mean total defeat. Before becoming the legendary Desert Fox, there was a man who learned war the hardest way possible, in the chaos of World War I. Erwin Rommel was born in 1891 in Germany into an ordinary family. Nothing suggested he would become one of the most feared commanders in history. In fact, he initially wanted to pursue a career in engineering, but in 1910, he made a decision that would change everything. He joined the army. When World War I began, Rommel was still a young officer, and it was there that he started building his reputation. Unlike many commanders of his time, Rommel did not lead from behind. He was always on the front line. He studied the terrain, observed the enemy, and attacked with almost surgical precision. During battles in France, Romania, and especially Italy, he showed something rare: initiative. While others followed orders, Rommel thought for himself. In one of his most famous actions, he led a small group of soldiers and managed to capture thousands of enemy troops using speed, surprise, and courage. These actions earned him one of Germany's highest military honors. But more important than medals was what he learned. Rommel understood that wars are not won by strength alone, but by movement, speed, decision, and boldness. These ideas would stay with him forever. After the end of World War I, Germany was defeated and its army drastically reduced. Even so, Rommel remained. He became a military instructor, teaching exactly what he had learned on the battlefield. Later years, he wrote a book based on those experiences, a book that would catch the attention of powerful figures within Germany. As time passed, a new conflict began to form in Europe. And when World War II finally began in 1939, Rommel was no longer just an experienced soldier. He was a commander ready for war. In 1940, during the invasion of France, Rommel was given command of the 7th Panzer Division, a tank unit, and that's when everything changed. While many generals still thought in slow, traditional ways, Rommel did the opposite. He advanced without stopping, ignored excessive caution, and attacked before the enemy had time to react. His division became known as the Ghost Division, not because it was invisible, but because no one could predict where it would appear. Rommel advanced so quickly that sometimes even the German command didn't know exactly where he was. Communications were cut, enemy lines were shattered, and fortified positions simply ceased to exist. He led personally, always at the front, taking risks few generals would accept. And that inspired his men. But it also worried his superiors, because Rommel was not the kind of commander who followed rules blindly. He made fast decisions and dealt with the consequences later. During the campaign in France, his division advanced hundreds of kilometers in record time, captured thousands of enemy soldiers, and helped secure one of the fastest victories of the war. But it wasn't just the victory that drew attention, it was the style. Rommel didn't fight like the others. He turned the battlefield into a game of constant movement, where stopping meant losing. By the end of the campaign, he was already seen as one of Germany's most promising commanders, respected by his men, feared by his enemies, and closely watched by the high command. But that was only the beginning, because soon Rommel would be sent somewhere completely different, a place where the terrain itself was the enemy, a place where the heat could kill as surely as bullets: the desert. The desert, a place where the heat burns during the day and the cold freezes at night, where machines break down, men dehydrate, and every mistake is paid for dearly. This is where Erwin Rommel arrived in 1941. After his success in Europe, the German High Command needed someone bold, someone capable of turning around a failing situation in North Africa. The Italians were collapsing. British forces were advancing through Libya. The situation was critical. And then Rommel arrived. He took command of the Africa Corps, a relatively small force, but one that would soon become one of the most feared of the war. According to widely explored accounts by National Geographic, Rommel didn't wait for reinforcements. He didn't wait for complete orders. He attacked immediately. While the British believed the Germans were still organizing, Rommel launched fast, unexpected offensives. He advanced through the desert like he had in France, fast, aggressive, unpredictable. And that's how he began facing one of his key opponents, British General Archibald Wavell. Wavell was experienced, cautious, methodical. Rommel was the opposite, and that would change everything. During the early campaigns in Libya, Rommel noticed something crucial. The British relied on long supply lines and struggled to react quickly in the open desert. That's where he struck. Inspired by his earlier tactics and refined with armored warfare, Rommel employed a deadly strategy, the pincer movement. While part of his force attacked from the front, fixing the enemy in place, another, faster unit would sweep around the flank, moving through open desert, far from roads, far from direct sight. And then, at the perfect moment, they would strike from the sides or the rear, cutting supply lines, creating chaos, and surrounding entire enemy units. According to National Geographic analyses, Rommel turned the desert into a battlefield of movement, not static defense. He didn't fight for positions, he fought for momentum. In one of his most striking moments during his advance in northern Libya, the British forces believed they held the advantage, but Rommel had already planned something else. While one force applied direct pressure, another armored unit executed a wide, sweeping maneuver through the desert, an almost invisible arc, raising dust miles away. By the time the British realized, it was too late. They were being attacked from multiple directions. It was a trap. Tanks appeared on the flanks, communication lines were destroyed, entire units became isolated. The psychological impact was devastating. British soldiers described the feeling of fighting an enemy that appeared out of nowhere. And that's when Rommel earned his name, the Desert Fox. Because he didn't fight like other commanders. He deceived, confused, and struck when least expected. Even with limited resources, even with severe logistical challenges, Rommel pushed British forces back, reclaiming territory in Libya and threatening key positions. But there was a problem. The desert shows no mercy. Fuel was scarce, supplies were delayed, and every advance made his position more fragile. Still, Rommel kept fighting against an enemy growing stronger, more organized, more supplied. On the other side, Rommel continued to rely on what had brought him success: movement, speed, surprise. But the desert began to demand its price. Tanks broke down, soldiers fell ill, and victories became harder to achieve. Still, Rommel endured, attacking when possible, retreating when necessary, maintaining something few commanders could: respect. His men admired him, and in a rare twist of war, even his enemies respected him. But behind all of this, a larger question was growing, one that would change how history would see him. Because while Rommel fought in the desert, another war was unfolding in Europe, an ideological war led by Adolf Hitler. And that raises an unavoidable question. Who was Rommel really? A military genius or a piece in a much larger machine? Unlike many high-ranking Nazi commanders, Rommel was not known for direct involvement in war crimes or extreme ideology. He was not a politician. He was a soldier, focused on strategy, on battles, on winning. But at the same time, he was close to Hitler. He earned his trust, received rapid promotions, and benefited from the system in power. This relationship remains debated to this day. Some see him as a professional doing his duty. Others believe he chose not to see what was happening around him. Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. At that moment in the war, Rommel was still seen as a hero, a brilliant commander, a master strategist, the Desert Fox. But the war was changing, and soon Rommel would be pulled back to Europe to face a different kind of battle, where speed and tanks might not be enough, and where decisions would no longer be only military, they would be personal.